Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do a quick and easy mastering chain. That way you can export your track and go play it in the club or upload it to streaming services or whatever you'd like to do. So let's go ahead and get started. As I do add each thing, as I go through, I'm just going to talk through exactly what I'm doing from start to finish, and I'll try to be as efficient as I can. So first things first, also I'm only going to be using Ableton stock plugins. Obviously, you can use any plugin that you want, but just so I can help as many people as I can, I'm just going to stick with stock plugins for now. So first of all, this is a free plugin that you should download called Ulean Loudness Meter, and we're going to put this on our track at the end of the mastering chain so that we can measure loudness, and we're going to measure our loudness in LUFS or LUFS, which is the most popular way to measure loudness, and it's really, really simple. So what we're aiming for, you want to go to the loudest part of your track, usually the drop section, and we want to get our track up to around -8, between -8 LUFS and -6. If you're making bass music or dubstep or whatever, and you want to push it to -4, then go for it. But for the purposes of house music and most electronic dance music, between -8 and -6 is just fine. So that's what our goal is going to be. So we've got this here. And next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw on the limiter, which is the most important part of mastering. And we're going to put on Ableton Saturator, which we're going to use as a clipper. And so I'm going to go ahead and play this section of the track, and I'm going to show you where we're at headroom-wise. If you look over here, so you don't need to have that much headroom. I pulled everything down so that we have about -9 dB of headroom. You can get away with -3, and it doesn't really matter because we're in digital. But just for the sake of being able to show you what we're doing here, I am going to show you with that amount of headroom. So first thing we're going to do, I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to take the clipper, and I'm going to put it on soft clip. And what we're doing here with the clipper is that we're just doing some transparent clipping where we're going to shave off the transients of the master. And this is just going to allow us to push the loudness level a lot easier. And so we're just doing some transparent clipping. And so essentially, I'm going to push up the drive, which is the same thing as gain, until we start to see this little light start to flash. If you buy an external clipper, like a K-clip or something like that, you're going to actually be able to visually see, which makes it kind of a lot easier. But I do like Ableton Saturator and to use for clipping, and it's actually really nice. You just don't push it too hard when it comes to mastering. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it, and this will get louder and louder. Just warning you as far as your listening goes. So I'm gonna play it, and you'll see as this light starts to blink. Okay, so I add about 8 dB of gain, and you can see it's starting to do some clipping. And we've got our LUFS up to, -13 or so. And now we're going to do some limiting, okay? And so first, let's talk about look ahead time. Look ahead time is basically how far ahead the limiter is looking. That way it can prevent things, like it can handle transients better. The problem, if you go too far ahead, it'll handle them well, but then you can lose some punch. If you go too quick, it'll be punchier, but then you can get some distortion. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and put the look ahead time on 3 milliseconds and leave it there. As far as ceiling goes, I think that -0.3 works fine. Some people put in, they go further, but for this, I think -0.3. And what this does is once you export, and this is why limiting is important, is that you set a ceiling there, and it's going to prevent intersample pinking and like distortion. So that way you can play on sound systems or speakers or whatever, and it doesn't have any issues. And so I'm going to leave the ceiling there. Release, a faster release is going to have more distortion, more punchy. Longer release time will kind of limit that, but I'm just going to keep the release where it's at for now. For the purpose of this video, I probably won't even mess with it at all. And so now I'm going to go ahead and crank the input gain until we get to the LUFS that we want. So let's go ahead and play it. Okay, and that works for me. That's pretty much it. Okay, so got a little bit of clipping into the limiter, and now we're ready to export. And when you do export, I would export with a bit depth of 16, and you can choose whichever dither you'd like to do. Usually when I'm doing dithering, I'm usually doing it through FabFilter Pro L, and that's basically just adding in kind of like this really and so I know that's really simple. I think a lot of times we overcomplicate, or people in general overcomplicate mastering. You'll see on TikTok, like, hey, this is my mastering chain. Here's the thing, guys. You can't fix a bad mix with mastering. You can maybe make a good mix a little better with mastering. Like if I had a really good mix and I was just going to master it for a client, then maybe I would do a little bit of EQing, some compression. But when it comes to mastering your own track, all of the work is done in the mix. Your mix should be amazing, and then you can do a simple master just like this and export it, and you're good to go. And you can really just keep it simple. Anytime you find yourself saying, oh, I saw this pro doing it this way, I should do it that way, stop and make yourself think through why you're doing something. If you find yourself doing something and you don't know why, then chances are it's not necessary, okay? And so this is a really simple, nice chain. You don't have to overthink it. And that's pretty much it. If you like this, if you like how I teach, if you look in the description below, you can actually join my school community, do a 7-day free trial, and take my compression course and my mixing and mastering course and learn everything you need to know about mixing and mastering. Do that 7-day free trial and cancel for all I care. Go ahead and do that. If you want to stick around, that would be great too. I just launched it, and so there's not that many members now. But yeah, go ahead, look in the description below, and I do live calls every week where you can ask me questions, and I look forward to seeing you guys in there soon. All right, until next time.